Welcome to Spokane Talks Live. Kent Adams here. I hope you're having a good day. This is the second to last day of August, August 30th. Can you believe school starts for some tomorrow? I guess a couple of kids have gone back to school already. Most of the schools, I think, start on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. And parents and grandparents are going to party. No, I'm kidding. We all look forward to getting them back to school and all the challenges that come with sports and theater and everything else. Hey, we've got a good program today. Our first guest will be Nick Richardson from Greater Vets. We're going to talk with Wes Jessup from the MAACP. Perhaps you've heard of the MAACP. It's been around for a few years. Phillip Tyler and Tracy Couture from the Spokane Vet Center is going to talk. They're going to talk about the Vet Center and what's going on there. It's kind of Veterans Day, isn't it? DeAnne Wilfong is going to, from Smooth Transitions, is going to talk about some fun things today. And in fact, just for giggles and pets and seniors and some things like that. And then we've invited Ozzie Knezovich, the sheriff, to come in and talk about the Fall Citizens Academy and whatever that is. We're going to learn about that right after this on Spokane Talks Live.
For the Inland Northwest's most comprehensive sports report, think outside the porch with spokesman.com. For just 99 cents for the first month, you'll enjoy unlimited digital access to the news and sports news that affect you most. From EWU to WSU, from Northwest Preps all the way to the Seahawks, we're the local authority that makes sports in the Inland Northwest different than the rest, better than the rest. On your phone, on your desktop, and on your tablet. Subscribe to the digital experience with spokesman.com.
I'm Lexi Dyson. I am an archaeological technician for the Tahoe National Forest in California. Archaeology is perfect for me. It kind of combines all of my loves: history, my love of culture, my love of arts and science. As a girl, you don't really get told that science is for you. Like when you look on TV, you always see men in lab coats. I was a freshman at North Central. Randy James was one of my biggest cheerleaders. Randy was one of the first people who told me that you are good at this, you can do this. His favorite phrase that he would say to us that really stuck with me is, Yato, you are the ones. We're the ones who are going to make the difference. We're the ones who are going to make the change. You really start thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, we are. I am the one that's going to do this. The work we're doing in Tahoe definitely is going to be here for good. Our purpose here is to preserve things and to make them last, to be here for good, for those future generations to enjoy. I love the variety of it and being able to see things that nobody else really gets to see, and having that touch of history and connection to people in the past. I am helping people by preserving their own heritage, their own resources. One of the things I love about SDCU is using the SDCU mobile app no matter where I go. It could be here in Tahoe National Forest, I could be back home, or it could be clear away across the country. I've been so impressed by their willingness to help and just be there where I need them to be, basically. It gives me a sense of home, even though I could be 3,000 miles away, 6,000 miles away, which I have done with SDCU, and I've never looked back. I'm Lexi Dyson, and SDCU is here for good.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live. Kent Adams here. Hope you're having a good day. It's August 30th, and we have Mark Richardson.
Nick,
did I say? I said Mark, didn't I? I can't read my writing. From Greater Veterans. Did I get it correct this time?
Yep.
You corrected me during commercial break.
Yeah, you got it. You got it right.
Yeah. Well, the joke is I had to write my notes out and hang it below the camera because I got the wrong ink yesterday for the printer. Of course, that's never happened to me before. At least I won't admit that it has. Anyway, hey, great. As you know, we're very supportive of things veterans around here. And thank you for your service and those that you serve. First of all, tell me about Greater Veterans. What is the organization? What do you do?
So we're working on building a vet center, hopefully in Spokane Valley, that's going to have a lot of key services, cafe, bistro, lounge rec, service dog stuff, auditorium, concerts, gym, kind of the whole shebang.
Okay. Do you have a site in mind? Maybe I won't push you because you don't want to say it. The price goes up if we say where.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, in this town, if you get anything away from Harlan Douglas, you won the lotto. I mean, it's hard to get something before he knows about it, but we're working with some people on some stuff.
Yeah. Well, good. You've got some things coming up here pretty soon, too, and that's why we wanted to have you in. Let's talk about that.
So we're excited to announce September 9th, we're going to have John Burke, who is on American Grit with John Cena. He's a former Army drill sergeant.
Okay.
Great motivator, great guy.
I have visions when you say Army drill sergeant.
Yeah,
I remember a few, okay?
Yeah, so I got to watch what I'm going to say. I don't want to do push-ups at our own
event, but,
exactly.
I'll send this directly to him.
You will?
Yeah.
All right. I'll make sure he gets it then. But he's a great guy, very motivational speaker. He's down in Houston with a couple other veterans helping out all those that are afflicted, as is the owner of Grunt Style, Daniel Allerick, who are also friends of mine. So we're excited to have him up. He's all about vets. You know, he did a couple tours himself. Great guy. Love him to death. His management team is amazing. We also have Him River Sweet. Justin, the lead singer, is a veteran, and his sister Amy is married to an active duty sailor.
All right.
And then we're going to have a few state representatives such as Matt Shea, Jacqueline Maycumber, and a few others that will be speaking. So we're very, very excited.
That's neat. Now, where's this going to be?
It's going to be at a center place out in Marabou Park.
Okay,
Starts at 5:30. Tickets will be available at the door, but we don't want to wait till the door to sell out.
No, we want to get ahead of time. Get them ahead of time.
So we got a couple tickets still left.
Okay, good. What's the cost?
So the cost, we did a national comparison based on who we have, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
We got a table of 8 right now, a VIP table where everyone gets one of our new shirts, a meet and greet, appetizers, tickets to the event, and an invite to the after party for $400. 2 for $50 for the VIP that just includes a meet and greet.
Right.
And then $20 for general admission. It's open to the public, 18 and up. We also have a table that a veteran group in D.C. that's on our page, they were nice enough to donate a table donation. So we have 8 seats at a table that we can give out to local vets as well.
Oh, nice. You know, that's important. I think of our friend Dan Kleckner and what he does every summer. And the first day is a day to really invite those who have been in our service to come out and have a round of golf with some community people and so forth. And I think that's great. And so what you're doing with them to be able to bring people in is kind of a fun event. Where do these funds go? How do you spend the bucks that you're going to raise?
So right now everything is going towards branding our next event and building our name, because our next step is to put in for some capital budget money and some grants. But until your name's one that they can pick out of a hat and recognize, you're not going to get very far in the process.
Well, and the fact is, number one, in Spokane we have a lot of nonprofits, probably more per capita than many communities. And I don't say that as a bad thing, because I think that shows that we're a caring community. But there's a lot of competition out there for the dollars, and you know what I call the funding marketplace, meaning private donations as well as government funds and others, you know, from foundations and so forth. It takes a while to establish who you are and what you're doing, and it's always probably a very frustrating process, because you know you're doing good things. The vets that are taking advantage of what you're doing and so forth and their involvement. But the time lag behind for everyone else to figure that out slows the process down, doesn't it?
Well, it does. And I mean, you know, we try and put together a board that's going to allow us to maximize effectiveness. Like we got a member on our board, I can't say her name or her last name, but her first name's Susie, and she's very connected in the music industry and scene.
Okay.
Recently we met Daryl Worley, who's a big-time country music artist. We know Rick Huckabee, Jeremy McComb, who are, you know, very patriotic themselves, who've played for us. And, you know, that's kind of what we're going after, is we're trying to, you know, touch every corner and every base we can so that we can be effective and not only grow locally where I'm of course from, but also nationally.
Yeah. Now, do you have on your board a mix of veterans and community people, or how did you come about on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been trial and error. You know, we've had to replace board members, had them resign for various reasons, from a sick father to God knows what.
Yeah. Life happens, unfortunately.
Well, it does, and it's hard to go up to someone and say, "Hey, help us put in a bunch of time" when it's free. And I realize that, but got a Navy veteran now who's in the real estate business on our board. Susie, who's been married to a Marine Corps veteran, grew up in a military family, very patriotic. Yes. So we try and always have a good balance. And then we have several people that consult with us behind the scenes.
Good.
So that's, kind of where we go with this.
As a vet and running a veterans organization, what do you hear from people that you come across? Because we've all seen the news, cable news especially, of what I would call the bitching and complaining out there. And how has that affected what you're doing and you personally? Is it personal, or are you putting the blinders on and just moving forward?
Well, I mean, as far as things like the VA, it's tough because I understand the paperwork side of things, how tough it can be to
But we've got to serve our vets.
Well, we do,
I mean,
and they're severely lacking. For example, me personally, I have some disabilities. And I found out my percentage got bumped, not through a letter in the notification that they're normally required and follow, but I renewed my ID card at the local VA here, and that's how I
And by the way.
Yeah. Did you know your percentage got bumped? And, I mean, that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing, and everyone has their issues, but, like John was big into exposing the Durham VA and other ones that are bad, and it needs to happen, but moreover, I think the world, the community as a whole can benefit from something I learned in the Army where, my drill sergeant and some of my leaders said the only color is camouflage. I think right now, something that is close to my heart is like with Charlottesville and all this, is we need to, as a community, regardless of political affiliation, what branch you served in, what color you are, we need to all take a hardline stance against the far left and the far right. Extremism of any kind is anti-American in itself.
Exactly.
And, that's where we need to go with this. And, Greater Veterans, we want to make our message clear that we don't support that. We don't support any of that bad stuff that's out there. We want to empower veterans and their families and the community, and we want to bring the community into what we're doing, because if they don't understand, how are they going to help?
Right. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
I wish you the best on the 9th, if I remember right.
Yep.
As I get older, sometimes I forget. How can people get information? Let's give the website.
Okay, the website is greaterveterans.com. That's spelled GR8TER veterans.com, or on Facebook, Greater Veterans Spokane. It's spelled the normal way with greater.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you,
Yeah.
Nick. All right, for coming in. All right.
Appreciate it.
Take care. We're going to be right back with Wes from the MAC right after this.
Hi, it's Edward here at RuggedTrainingCompany.com. And it's boot season again, and we have every boot to fit your need, from Chippewa to Carolina, Wolverine to Morel, Danners, even Boulets. So come on down and check us out at RuggedTrading.com. Hope to see you there.
Welcome to Tom Sawyer Country Coffee.
Tom Sawyer Country Coffee only roasts the finest organic coffee for our signature blends. Enjoy a cup at our coffee shop and local businesses and organizations across the region.
I'm Tom Sawyer, and we choose the Pacific Northwest.
Last year alone, Avista customers saved over 53 million kilowatt hours of energy. Enough to power more than 4,000 homes for an entire year. Way to save, everyone. Way to save. Find your way to save at avistautilities.com.
What? You haven't been to the library lately? Stop in today and see that the library is more than books. Spokane County Library District facilities feature on-site technology, including Wi-Fi, computers, and printers, as well as free use of meeting rooms. The Library District offers events and programs for all ages, from story times to career development and employer classes to Social Security workshops. Our staff is well trained and happy to help. Find out more about your library at scld.org. Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live. Kent Adams here. Hey, Kevin, what's the temperature outside? 92. Wow. It didn't feel like quite 92, did it?
It did, yeah. I just walked in. It's definitely 92 out there. It's
well, it's 70
92.
in here, okay?
Right.
So we get a little spoiled.
Yeah.
Wes Jessup, the executive director. What is your exact title over there?
Executive director.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
I
you
was
got
darn
it.
close.
All right.
Of the MAC.
That's right.
We've known it as the Cheney Coles Museum. We've known it as the place to go for history and all that's gone on in Spokane over the years. And as I keep telling folks who become the executive director, and it seems to be like an in and out over there, sometimes a hard place to find. Even the signage going into Brown's, and you know this, I'm
right.
sure, Brown's Edition change colors. It's not even consistent. The city doesn't have, a brown sign to a brown sign to the MAC.
Right,
it's a brown
right.
sign to a green sign or something. That's
Right.
But with the Campbell House and everything else, a beautiful place over there.
It's a beautiful place, and I mean, you're right. We are in a residential area,
yes,
and that was intended because wanting to be adjacent to the Campbell House.
Right,
so
right.
It all kind of makes sense. But you're right. It's not like on a major thoroughfare. So we do have
right.
We do have to educate people. Here's how you find us.
Okay, now you've been the executive director for how long?
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah,
that long?
I've been here for 6 months.
So you've lasted longer than no. I'm just kidding. What's going on with the MAC?
The MAC.
Some of us are really concerned.
Yeah.
Very concerned.
Yeah.
I think back to the record show back in 1968 in the files of the MAC and at the state level, financial problems. And I think of in the 1980s when the Davenport family gave their relics and $1 million that were sold and spent for operating dollars. We look at there's money from the state. Because it's a state museum. Am I saying it right?
We're a state agency.
State agency,
correct.
Yeah. And yet I have this firm belief that that's barely keeping things alive over there. Am I wrong?
You're wrong. We're doing okay. I mean, the MAC is kind of we're doing great actually. And to kind of go back to, I don't know, some of the history that you mentioned. I do know that we will be featuring some of the Davenport collection.
Okay.
We're having a major Titanic exhibition opening on October 20th.
Ooh, okay.
Which is really exciting. And so what did we? So we have a.
But we know what happened to the Titanic.
We do know what happened to the Titanic. It's an artifact show. They're actually, we're bringing in artifacts from the ocean floor. So it's a major show. We're very excited about it. They kind of recreate the ship inside the gallery.
Is this the one that was in Seattle years ago?
It's a version of that one.
Okay.
Not the exact same one, but a version.
But I mean, it's kind of the traveling exhibit.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
That's correct. But we really wanted to make a connection between the Titanic and then some of the assets we have at the museum, including the Campbell House, which is of that era, as well as the Davenport collection. So our curator, Marsha Rooney, is putting together a history show in an adjacent gallery that will feature objects from the Davenport collection and just from our collection generally that kind of highlight that moment, that historic moment in Spokane, which was a really exciting time.
Well, and it's funny because I realized and put this all together probably a decade ago when the Titanic issue was really, being discussed and so forth. The house we live in right now, was built in 1912.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, I had never put that together, and all of a sudden you realize that it was being built the year the Titanic sank.
That's right.
And you tend to think the Titanic was so long ago.
I know.
And all of a sudden you realize you're living in an old house.
Living in an old house. And, connecting to that, this is interesting, there were 7 Spokaneites that were connected to Spokane that were on that ship.
Yes.
So we're also calling attention to them because those are some local figures. And in fact, one of them was coming back to a home that is still standing in town. So it's amazing, I think, some of the connections. You think, well, we're landlocked and we're inland. But actually, Spokane was such a boom town at that time, and there was so much going on. So it's a good connection that we're making to this exhibition.
As things have changed over the last decade or so, with the name change, I saw recently that there was an RFP out for a new name.
No. no new name.
That's what the RFP said, though.
No, the RFP says it's just a redesign. So it's not a name change. It's a graphic redesign because there's been some different ones over the years. So one of my goals is just to put that into a cohesive identity. So it's not a name change, and the RFP doesn't say that either. So I think you may have seen it as a graphic redesign.
Okay.
And so we're really hoping to bring everything under a brand umbrella that includes the wide variety of things we're doing, everything from Art Fest to Campbell House to archives. We have so many different services at the museum, and we want people in town to really identify each of those as being a MAC, a piece of the MAC.
How do we get? Because I know in the last couple of weeks I've talked with people who care about history. Okay? Sure. And they are the feedback I heard back from folks was someone needs, probably the executive director, to tell the board to stay out of the day-to-day operation, which they've done the last decade or so. Do you think, Kent, the last 2 years? I mean, these are things, and I'm talking about from people who understand the community.
Sure.
And that's what I'm hearing, and I worry about that because as somebody who literally helped start a foundation for a ghost town in California. I love history. I wish I had loved it more back in school. Okay, but as we get old, so I'm concerned because there is so much history connected with the MAC.
Sure.
How do we convince people? Because if the community isn't convinced, they're not going to pony up money, as you know.
Yeah. So let me just put to rest your fears. The MAC is not going anywhere. So we're a healthy organization. One of my goals in my first 6 months is I'm really looking to find a place of sustainability for this organization because, like you said, there have been some ups and downs over the years, and that's true with many nonprofits. MAC is not unique there. No. So, we really want to find a sustainable place for the museum. We're going into a strategic planning session in September.
Okay.
So we're inviting community members. We really want to hear different voices and people that have been involved over the years, because I think for me to be an effective leader there, I need to understand, what are the...
Well, you don't want to hear feedback after you've tried to implement something and you wish you had heard that before.
That's right.
That's right. That's pure fact.
And when I come back in a year to talk to you, I don't want, we're not going to be talking about that. We'll be talking about the future. We'll be talking about new things. So I'm confident that we're moving in the right direction, and the board is wonderful. I mean, we've definitely turned a page there. They do not micromanage. So we have
but they have in the past,
and I can't speak to that.
Yeah,
so
I mean that's just a pure fact, and a lot of us know that, and that's what I'm saying is we need to get past that.
Sure.
To feel confident in the community. As someone who's raised funds for nearly 50 years on and off as a professional and so forth.
Sure.
If you don't have a product that is believable and people feel confident about it, they don't talk very long with you about underwriting.
Right.
I mean, that's
right.
just a pure fact. So you've got that hurdle, and it sounds like you feel confident that you're moving in the right direction for that.
We have funders coming back to the museum as we speak.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so people are coming back. There's reinvestment happening, and I think that is so. We've definitely moved beyond some of the things you were describing, and we're turning the page.
So we need to hear that in the community.
Yeah, and I think from my perspective, I like a little time and some. I'd like to see some more achievements before we take those out live. We have a strategic plan coming, and I know that will, I think, give confidence to some of our funders and some of our patrons, and just the community in general.
So you've been a little bit out of the box the last a few years in terms of the kinds of exhibits you've had. You just mentioned the Titanic. What else is coming? What else? You're finishing up the Z Nation thing now?
Yeah, and we're moving into Titanic and we're also planning for next summer. We have an Edward Curtis sesquicentennial exhibition. He's a photographer that in the turn of the last century photographed a lot of the tribes in traditional costumes. I have a really strong passion for our Native American collection. And it's my goal to bring that out within the next year as well. And that's going to be, we're going to find ways to bring that collection out. So hopefully whenever you go to the museum, there will be some of that tribal collection out. It's a phenomenal collection. Phenomenal collection.
We're running out of time. I hear positive things,
Good.
And I think that's good.
Good.
Let's do this. Let's have you on every couple of months and kind of roll out some of the things. like
Sure.
the Titanic. Now, when does that start?
It opens on October 20th.
October. So before that, let's have
Yeah.
you back and
Yeah.
let's talk about that. Maybe some pictures, some preview. And
Sure. I'd be happy to do
How long does
that.
the Z Nation thing go?
It's up for like I think 3 more weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So
I
it's
knew it
up
was
for a little
kinda-
bit longer.
Kind of ending. So
yeah. That's been exciting.
Yeah. Well, next week, in fact, we have Rich Cowan from Northwest.
Good
on,
deal.
and he's been a good friend.
Good deal.
And all that. So, well, nice to meet you. Number
Yes,
one.
good to meet you.
Good luck with all
Yeah,
the challenges.
thank
but
you.
it sounds like you're making steps forward, which to me and to people I've talked to sounds good.
Great,
And so
great.
here we go.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this.
Last year alone, Avista customers saved over 53 million kilowatt hours of energy. Enough to power more than 4,000 homes for an entire year. Way to save, everyone. Way to save. Find your way to save at avistautilities.com.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
To find the right home for you, you'll work with your realtor to compare the properties you're interested in, analyze the market, and figure out a reasonable offer price. And now, here you are, ready to make an offer. Yay, you! Here's how it works. First, you'll complete an offer sheet which your realtor will then present to the owner. Sometimes, a nice note to the owner can help your offer stand out. Butter them up. Tell them how much you love their garden, that it reminds you of gardening with your grandmother as a child. Do not mention you're gonna bulldoze it and put in a pool. The owner may accept the offer, reject it, or counter. It's important to be in close contact with your realtor during the negotiation process so any changes can be reviewed. Your realtor is like your consigliere, and that makes you the Don. Once your offer is finally accepted, there are usually some contingencies that must be met in order to keep the contract alive. Inspections are totally common in real estate transactions. They include termite checks, surveys to determine boundaries, appraisals to determine value for lenders, title reviews, and structural inspections. This stuff is mind-numbingly fascinating. But you know what's even more fascinating? Actually getting your new house.
Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live, and it's 92 degrees outside. Still hasn't changed. You didn't upset the thermometer, Phil.
No.
Phil Tyler. I don't know what to call you in terms of your connections anymore. A man about town, coffee connoisseur. Okay, black coffee, right?
Yes, sir.
You don't put anything in it, right?
Not.
Well, at least not that colors it.
Yes.
Now, maybe something else, but we won't go. Okay.
caffeine.
Phil, how are you doing?
I'm good.
It's been a few weeks since you've been in here.
Yes, sir, it has.
Yeah,
Yes.
and something's happened since then.
Nothing rings a bell.
Nothing rings a bell? Okay. All right. Well, Meg, are you watching? You got married.
I did,
yeah. And
Wonderful.
when you were in here, get a little closer to the mic, if you will. Last time you were here was a couple weeks before the wedding.
It was.
And you were starting to get a little nervous.
Not starting, was.
Okay.
Yes.
I was trying to be kind, Phil. Come on. I'm trying to give you a little wiggle room.
Yes, sir.
But everything I saw on Facebook and so forth looked great. It looks
wonderful.
like people had a good time,
Yes,
like you
sir.
guys had a good time. You went to a place down in Coronado, the Del Coronado. Am I saying it right?
Absolutely.
I
Hotel
remember
Del
doing
Coronado.
it, and I was telling you before. I think last time I was there, I was 10, so it was 60-some years ago. Beautiful old place.
Beautiful place.
Yeah. Now,
Great
did you actually
service.
stay there?
Yes, we did.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good.
The best treatment we had, and one of the best things we did was be able to see our Navy SEAL sailors running on the
Yes,
beach. Yeah.
yes. And even a picture with Meg out doing something with
Well, she wasn't running. She was collecting sand dollars.
Seashells, but
Yes.
sand dollars. Okay. Yeah. But you joined, right? And ran after you took the picture? You got in?
Yeah. So, but no one was there to take the picture, though.
Yeah, right. Okay. Hey, you're here for a different reason today, and we had a program on at the beginning today about greater veterans, and you're here to talk about the Veterans Center here
Absolutely.
in Spokane and maybe some challenges and so forth. So,
Correct.
Talk about that. What do we want our viewers to know?
Well, what we want them to know is there was a story that KXLY did on the Spokane Veterans Center. And Meg saw it and told me that I needed to watch it, knowing that I was a veteran.
Yes.
And when I watched the story, it really touched me.
Air Force, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Lieutenant?
I wish.
Oh, what?
Sergeant.
Okay.
The real workers.
Yeah, exactly, where the work gets done.
But I saw the story, and it really touched me because they were talking about how their cupboards were running bare in their pantry. And one of the issues was we knew that the Spokane Veterans Center existed, we being the broader community.
Right.
And we knew they did a myriad of services for our veterans.
Right.
But the pantry was one of the smaller things that we really didn't know about. And so when their cupboards started to run bare, I said, we have to do something about this.
Yes.
I told Meg. And one person can only do so much, Kent, but I believe in the theory of multiplication.
Yeah.
1 + 1
Right.
+ 1 + 1 + 1. So I immediately made a call to our communities, Peaceful Communities Roundtable Group.
Okay.
Including our congresswoman, our sheriff, our police chief, and they instantly said, yes, we're in.
Okay.
What can we do?
Okay.
And we quickly raised some funds.
Which happens so much in Spokane, doesn't it?
It does.
You get a good
Yes.
response when you show them the need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that shows.
And we're seeing that in
truly
Houston right now, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Aren't we?
It shows
Yeah.
the true heart and the kindness and the empathy of the people. And I think this is what is being displayed here. So when I made the call to the Roundtables group, everyone unequivocally said, we're in.
Yes.
We raised funds, and then we thought, how do we continue this process?
Yes.
So I started reaching out to my partners and allies in different groups. I started with my good friend Tony Epifanio.
Okay.
He's the president of the Greater Spokane Food Trucks Association. He
Okay.
said, whatever you need, Phil, we'll match.
Okay.
Then from there, we reached out to our good friend Manny.
Yes.
In America, and he connected me with the Rotary 21, and the ball just kept rolling.
Yeah.
My good friend Jeff DeBro over in Montana, who's a service member in the Air Force now,
Right.
is gathering his people. And before I came down here, I was working with E-Tails, a company here in Spokane.
Yes.
You know them.
Very successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I do some leadership training with them, and they're on board. And they said to me, we're going to put a company-wide call out to our employees.
Yes.
And we're going to get donations, and we will personally, Josh and Sarah,
Yes.
will personally match the donations up
nice.
to $250. So
Nice.
we're getting traction. And Kent, I have to tell you this. Sitting in the green room waiting, I met a wonderful lady by the name of DeAnne.
Yes.
And she's going to be on after me here.
Yes.
She is going to donate and match $100.
Oh, nice.
For the Spokane Veterans Center. And we're challenging all other groups out there. I said to KXLY today, I'm challenging my friend, the mayor of the valley there, Rod Higgins,
Yes.
and his council to donate, because the center is out there in the valley.
Okay,
Actually
okay.
at 13109 Mirabou Parkway,
Okay.
out in the valley. So I'm challenging them to step up, because the veterans have done so much for us.
Absolutely.
That they deserve
Absolutely.
our
And
support.
I cringe when I keep hearing the stories that our veteran centers and
Yes.
hospitals aren't serving our vets. I'm sorry, but everything needs to be pushed aside, and we need to take care of those men and women
Sure.
who have stepped up for us, okay? And then when I hear that we need additional food and so forth. So let's talk about how can people help?
Yeah, I think they can either donate actual food items, and our friends at the wonderful furniture store, 16 cents.
Yes, yes,
right?
yes, yes.
They'll collect donations there, but you can also donate funds.
Okay.
Right? And again, we, the Peaceful
Because you have the
Communities
power
Roundtable,
to multiply those
absolutely,
dollars,
yeah,
right?
we're not a 501c3.
Okay.
But we are individuals who want to make an impact.
Yeah.
Even if we don't have the income, we want to make an impact. And
Right.
if we collectively put $10 in together, that's $10 more than the cupboards had before.
Yes.
And if we talk to 10 people who
Yes.
put $10 in, that's $100.
Yeah.
And we just use this
Well,
multiplying force.
110 if you put 10 already.
Well, true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gonna
This
keep
isn't
you
a math
honest.
equation.
I want to see the accounting here.
Yes.
No, I'm kidding, of course.
But we think that
Yeah.
Spokane has a good heart. We've
Yeah.
shown that in
Yes.
the 100 Days for 100 Youth campaign, and
Yeah.
we supported that as well
Yeah.
as the Peaceful Communities Roundtable. And I think this is another event where we can show
Yes.
that we are truly kind and empathetic people.
Yeah, and and we need to move from all of the rancor that we're hearing,
Yes.
I'm afraid, on both sides.
No, there's no doubt it's both sides.
Yeah, and start moving into unity.
Yes.
How we can help our brothers and sisters.
We need to stop being bitter and get better. Better at treating one another.
You always have wisdom in words. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and those who know you will know what I'm saying,
Yes,
right? Now, you're over at welcoming the new students at Gonzaga, aren't
Yes,
you?
sir. Yes, they're back.
Yeah. Did you have some fun with that? I saw a couple, I think, of selfies.
I did. Wonderful.
You know, I can always depend on selfies from you. Usually in a coffee shop, though. Yeah. So when are we going to coffee next? See, I asked these questions live on the air.
There's no better coffee than Tom Sawyer here.
Oh,
So why would I need to go anywhere else?
Okay. Well, good. We'll see you soon then, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
you for sending the note last night and saying, Kent, we've got an issue that we need to get out to the public because, especially on veteran things, we're there all the time, and so we want to help support all that you're doing and the others are doing, and at some point we'll be able to write a big check, but that doesn't happen right now, but soon we will be, and we're really supportive of all that you do personally in the community because you're one who really brings folks together. And hey, are you ready yet to tell me which county office you're going to run for?
Or city.
Or city. Oh, now city. Oh, or is that to throw me off?
No, sir.
No?
Sir. I wouldn't do that to you, my friend.
Okay, so let's see. Coming up would be a mayor's job, city council.
Council president.
Council president. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yes,
and
sir.
Ozzie just walked in and shook his head yes.
He was one of the first to respond to this call to action as a veteran himself.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Ozzie's a good guy. Hey, thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
As always, you have an open door here, okay?
Thank you.
All right. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be talking with DeAnne Wilfong right after this. Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live. Still 92 degrees out there. I think Kevin in our production room needs to tap the thermometer and get with it. I think, he's probably been breathing on it or something, keeping the same temperature. Hey, DeAnne Wilfong from the Smooth Transitions.
Correct.
That sounds like smooth coffee or smooth bourbon or something like that. But good to have you back, right?
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
We did this a couple weeks ago and talked about what you do, which is serving seniors and getting them moved and the families of seniors and so forth, having been through that, and my sister with our parents and so forth. But I said I wanted you back because we had to talk about, and I wrote it down, just for giggles. Okay,
Just for giggles.
So you have a couple of stories because you're dealing with seniors all the time and their families. So just for giggles, what do you have to share with us?
Well, I was thinking about all the different topics, and I could talk about everything from...
try to shut either of us up, right?
Yes. But there was an article in Monday's paper in Spokane Review. It's called Pets Help Seniors Stay Healthier and Happier.
Yes.
And they do. And I have some stories to prove that.
Oh, fun. Okay.
I think I'm going to talk about 3 different reasons that pets help so much. And the first one's companionship.
Yes.
The second one's going to be health.
Okay.
And I have some really funny ones on that.
Uh-oh.
And then the social aspect. And we know those, but when you hear the reality of this.
Yeah.
Companionship is the first one.
Someone to talk to.
Someone to talk to.
Someone to purr at you if it's a cat. Yes.
So the CDC said that one of the reasons that seniors fail so quickly is that they're lonely.
Yes.
And they're depressed.
Yeah.
And sometimes the only person they see
is too much time to think.
Too much time to think, and too many catalogs in their hands so they can order things so they can get to know the FedEx driver.
They order one thing at a time.
One thing at a time. We've had up to 700 boxes of shoes in a house, never opened. Size 7, by the way. We found homes for all of them, but that's just a pretty good indicator.
And you're not kidding, are you?
Oh, I'm not kidding, no.
No.
I go back to Brenda. Brenda had been in her house for 30 years, and the parents were... Her parents were still alive. Brenda was sinking fast, and they said, we're all going to go to a retirement center together.
Yeah.
She said, when I go out feet first. But an accident changed that.
Oh, no, yes.
And they took her to a retirement center, and she went home and said, no way. They took her to one more. And this retirement center had a greeter pet, a dog. Happened to be a yellow lab.
Yeah.
And she decided she would go there. It wasn't long before she had her own senior dog. And she said she loved to watch TV, movies. And she said she considered it her furry hot water bottle because the dog kept her feet warm.
Yeah. And sometimes we don't realize how important that is.
We don't. This is so funny because there are health benefits, and this stress reducing is one. I mean, when you're petting something, instead of fidgeting, which I tend to do,
or pushing the remote all the time.
Pushing the remote.
Yeah.
And it also lowers blood pressure. Now, I may not get invited back after saying this one, but I asked a professional today, I was helping her move some things, and I said, what's been your experience with pets? And she said, I've got to tell you about a new book, and it's called Eat Dirt.
Oh, okay.
And she said,
you better explain.
Yes. People who have pets, and the pets get out into the dirt, and they come in, and the elderly person strokes it and cleans it up, they're getting some of the dirt and some of the good things from the soil on their hands, and it's being absorbed. And she said, because all of us wash our carrots, and none of us eat any dirt anymore, but petting the dog, it's going to get into your system. And I thought, well, I'm going to have to look into that.
But
this
is not medical advice.
Not medical advice.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that pets do reduce stress.
Yes.
And they do lower blood pressure. And I've got a really good example of that. There was a real frail man. He was living out in a rural area, and he was malnourished.
Okay.
And he was brought into the hospital, and he was so seriously malnourished that he went to a group home, but he still wouldn't eat there. But that group home had kittens.
Okay.
And when the kittens would come around, he would perk up.
Yes.
So the reward for eating was you get to see the kittens again.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. He gained enough weight that he could get up and walk around, and he spent about 20 minutes a day walking around and playing with those kittens.
Good.
I think that's just fantastic.
Absolutely. One last story, because
yes.
we're running out of time. Believe it. I don't know where the time goes.
You're going to love this one. Glenda had lived in the neighborhood for 50 years. Everyone had moved. She didn't know anyone anymore.
Oh, yes,
she was
sure.
alone, just the dog.
Yeah.
The dog got out while I was helping her downsize. And we went neighbor to neighbor. We found that the neighbors were so concerned. They helped Glenda look. The story has a happy ending. Not only did the dog come home, but she met neighbors who helped her.
Wow.
Now, I'm going to get this in really quickly, and I can talk really quickly. So listen, responsible pets. Let me put in a plug for Spokane.
Yes.
They have a program that is called Guardian Angel.
Yes, okay.
And there are so many dogs and cats that are abandoned when the person dies or they get critically ill. If you'll call Spokane, they have a program, Guardian Angel. You fill out a form that tells you all about the pet.
Right.
Then, if you list them in your will, and it doesn't have to be a large contribution,
right.
But then Spokane will take care of your animal according to your wishes.
Nice, yes.
They have 3 other programs that I think are wonderful. That'd be a good program one day.
Absolutely.
The one that I think is so fun is it's called Positive, and these are the prisoners who are socializing.
We did a house-to-home half-hour TV program a couple years ago, and actually went out to the correction center out there to shoot some of the video.
Wonderful,
absolutely, a real change agent.
It is a change agent, and one of my seniors has one of those dogs.
Oh wow!
And also, I've got to put in a plug for it's called it's Farm Living. And if you have a cat that is not behaving, let Spokane know.
That's all we ever have.
And, and if you have a barn that needs a good master of rodents, call them.
Yeah.
They have trained rodent control on 4 paws.
We probably need one in here because some of the people that work in our master control, you know.
Yeah, one opened the door for me today.
right. DeAnne, thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
This is fun. It is important as we look at, some of us are becoming seniors, and I'm going to share this with my kids just so they think about it in the future. But thank you for coming
You're welcome.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the sheriff right after this. Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live, and this almost seems like Thursday morning, because what happens on Thursday morning?
That would be my show.
Yes. Oh, your show. Yes, called The Sheriff's Report, all right? How are you, Ozzie?
Doing well.
First, I want to talk about the reason that we had you here, but I also saw a picture of you or your deputies helping, was it through the Salvation Army? With students going back to school and all of that.
Yes.
Talk about that. Why do your deputies step up to do something like that?
Well, it's all part of our community outreach, and we've been doing that for 6 years with the Salvation Army.
Right.
The Salvation Army, they have, the disadvantaged kids that live there at the Salvation Army, and in
not only
Sally's
live there,
house,
but they serve a lot.
Yeah, they do.
Yes.
Sally's house,
Right.
Kids that are really been abused in their life. Salvation Army takes them back to school, clothes shopping. Well, in order to get that done, they need volunteers to be with all the kids so we can get that all marshaled through. And the Sheriff's Office, along with the Spokane Police Department, every year we meet them up at the Target on the north side, and we go shopping with the kids.
That's great. That is great. Again, all I see are not only our police officers, but our deputies giving back in this community. And I think that goes a long way to say what you guys are really about. You guys meaning men and women in our local uniforms that protect us on a daily basis. There was an announcement that came up the other day about the Fall Citizens Academy registration is open.
Yes.
What is that about, Ozzie?
I think that we're on our 7th year, if I'm not mistaken. For 7 years, we've done academies. We do one in the fall. We do one in the springs.
Okay.
The one in the fall is about the sheriff's office, basically from A to Z.
Okay.
What we do, how we do it, the units that we have, why we do certain things. If you want to really learn about the Spokane County Sheriff's Office, the Fall Academy is that academy.
Okay.
We are inviting the citizens to come and attend that academy. It's well worth your time. All the feedback back I've ever had on that particular academy has been outstanding.
Okay.
In the spring.
And people get to ask questions, I would assume, as well, right?
They get to ask questions.
Of course, that's your style. You start off your speeches with questions. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I start out the academy with questions.
Yeah.
First I tell them, I said, look, for the next 6-8 weeks, you're going to be coming here.
So this is a 6 or 8 week program.
It is.
It's not just a one.
It's not a one night.
Wow.
This is a very in-depth look at the sheriff's office.
Do you get good feedback in terms of suggestions and things like that?
Mm-hmm.
Not only an attaboy that you're doing a great job, but I mean things that you can take back to the shop that you can look at?
We do, and criticisms, everything.
Right.
So I start out with explaining to everybody that for that next block of time, throw all the garbage out as far as
have an open mind.
The us against them, whatever label you want to throw on yourselves, drop them. Because right now you are in this community, this little academy is your community.
Right.
Now, the Spring Academy is all about officer-involved shootings.
Ah, okay.
And the dynamics
which is often the most
that.
talked about.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we take that from the event all the way through, and we walk the academy students.
Is that a multi-day
through?
too?
It's 6 to 8 weeks also.
Wow. How many people come out to this?
Most of our classes run anywhere from 30 to 50.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. So we
That's
have
great.
the capability of doing 50.
Okay. So now this starts when?
This starts next month. I can't exactly remember what the date on that one was.
Okay. Starts Monday, October 2nd.
Okay.
See, I have the cheat sheet in front of me.
Thank
you, Mark. Your PIO, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
cost?
It's free.
Oh, okay.
There is no cost, just your time.
Okay. All right.
Taking the time to come in and get to know about your law enforcement, get to know your sheriff's office. Because there's a lot of misnomers.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, quite frankly, since the term is being so widely used and abused anymore, fake news about.
Well, welcome to Facebook
happens.
and everything else.
Facebook is one of those venues that amazingly, the conspiracy theories that I see on that, and quite frankly, at times I'm asked to debunk. Just make me scratch my head and go,
where did that come from?
You guys really were going to believe this?
Yeah. Like the airplanes in Houston that were underwater. I mean, just things. I mean, we see it all, and it's purported to be real news. And
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so it starts on Monday the 2nd. How starts at 6 o'clock? Was this a couple hours each Monday?
It's
or
usually from 6 to 9.
6 to 9, okay.
So you're
once a
giving up-
week?
Once a week. You're
Okay.
giving up 3 hours a week. And it is, again, very much well worth your time. The thing that I've noticed, though, I've invited many, let's call them grousers,
Okay.
to attend.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
They never do.
Yeah.
And
well, it's easier to sit on the outside and do pot shots.
Exactly.
Without knowing.
You know, I'm at the point of, if you really think that's who we are, we have a whole bunch of different type of entities.
Yeah.
Why don't you come and either volunteer?
Yeah, put up or shut up.
You know, we have
Really.
our scope arm, we have our reservist arm, or even
Be
better,
part of the solution instead of the problem.
take the test.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come and really find out what it's like and who we are, because all this stuff that you think you know,
Yeah.
you really don't know.
No. Well, how's the morale of your deputies these days? Because I know you're low in numbers. You only have to watch the national news to see the targeting of police and deputies and so forth. What's the morale?
You know, as far as doing the job, they are highly motivated to go out and do the job. If you ask how the morale is as far as how they feel, not so much.
Yeah. Kind of really wondering where their support is out there.
Well, not only that, they sometimes really wonder, is it really worth doing anymore?
Yeah.
Last year,
I know on your show we've talked about a few folks who have said, my family's more important, and I can't. Yeah.
Or their families have said, you either find a new job or we're out of here.
No.
This year seemed a little better, but the one thing that the media doesn't cover is the fact that we are still being targeted and we're still being assassinated.
Yeah.
What was it, 2 weeks ago? There were 6, one day.
Right.
6 officers were shot in 3 different ambushes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's become so routine that some of the news folks don't feel like covering it.
Well, I don't think it's the routine aspect. It goes against their narrative.
Well, I was going to go there next. Yes. Okay. I was trying to be a little polite, which is unusual for me. Okay.
I'm pretty much done with the politeness. It's pretty much guaranteed. If you want to talk very hate-filled rhetoric towards law enforcement, it's probably not a good thing to do it around me, because I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about that.
Yeah.
All this hate-filled rhetoric is what's causing law enforcement officers to get killed.
Yeah.
Because you can only have that rhetoric around so long until it affects somebody in such a way that they suddenly go, well,
they feel like they're entitled to do something negative.
Yep.
Yeah.
Either the next time I'm contacted or the next time I see one, I'm going to take action.
Yeah.
This hate radicalized, and it is to the point that this conversation has become radicalized.
Yeah.
I started a little bit of a firefight, if you will, on the Spokane Liberty Caucus, because one of the administrators of that page threw a very hate-filled rendition of total fake news about law enforcement and how citizens don't trust us. Folks, the polling's been done.
The law-abiding citizens trust you.
76% of the citizens have very high trust in us.
Yeah.
And that has really never truly changed when you look at the Gallup poll that lists 11 different industries.
Yeah.
And law enforcement is consistently number 3.
Yeah.
We're above organized religion and just below the small business owner. The military is number 1.
Wow.
So we have been number 3 for as many years as I can remember that particular poll. And this diatribe, all that was an attempt to do is to continue to drive that wedge. And just as I kind of blamed President Obama, I'm blaming that group for the same rhetoric.
Right.
And one of the administrators of that, Rob Chase, he really needs to think about what that page is putting out.
Absolutely. Ozzie, thank you. you and your deputies for the service to this community.
Thank you.
Sign up for this. They can go where to sign up?
They can get a hold of the Spokane County Sheriff's Office at our website. Hit
Somebody
the
at the
links,
front office will know
and
too?
We will be able to get them signed up for it. Please, if you really want to know what the truth is, start learning what the truth is. Come out, find out what your sheriff's office is all about.
Thank you, Ozzie.
Thank you.
That's it for this week. We'll see you next week in September 6th. Have a good weekend.
Spokane Talks Live is produced in Spokane, Washington by Spokane Talks Online, LLC, which is solely responsible for its content. To recommend a guest or topic, or to see this program again, please visit our website, SpokaneTalksOnline.com. Spokane Talks Live is brought to you by our friends at Homes for You and Breakthrough Incorporated. Join us next Wednesday, noon, for another nourishing conversation on Spokane Talks Live.